Holy shit. That's just super Silent Hill 1 feeling right here. If you played Silent Hill 1, you know which scene I mean. At that time, suddenly, the piercing sound of a phone rang through the room. I mean, consider the fact that they said the phone is not working. It was the antique extension phone set on the table in Grandfather's study. It had rung right after we started talking about the ladder being a trap. It was natural we'd think of it as an SOS from the ones he chased out. But then aRdW spoke. Why a phone call? The phones should be broken down and unusable. That doesn't matter. If that's Maria calling for help. If the problem with the phones was the culprit's work in the first place, then this call is probably... With that one sentence, the ring of the phone, which had once sounded like a scream for help, now started to sound like a ghastly lure from some unknown person. aRdW hesitated over whether to pick up the receiver. Let's pick it up, aRdW. The phones might have been fixed for some reason. It could still be an urgent call from Maria-chan and the rest. That's right. And if it actually is a call from the culprit, bring it on. Why don't we listen to what they've got to say? It's just a phone call. No matter what they babble through the receiver, it's not like it's gonna hurt you. If you don't pick it up, then I will. I will take it. Hello? Or is that, Oh, okay, it's Natsuhi. I stretched out my hand to take the receiver, but aRdW grabbed it before I could reach. We all held our breath, trying to figure out who the person on the other end of the phone was. But for a while, aRdW kept saying hello. A silent phone call? There's no way Maria and the others would do something so creepy. Which means, could this phone call possibly really be... Natsuhi stopped repeating hello and strained her ears, because she thought she heard something far away on the other end of the receiver. What was that? Huh? Is someone... singing? What do you mean, singing? Man, this is getting creepy as fuck. I don't know. Faintly from the other end of the phone, I can hear someone singing. I wonder what it could be. Give it here for a sec. Hello? I half-forced the receiver from the stunned aRdW's hand and pressed it against my ear. At first I didn't hear anything, but because I had been told about it beforehand, I noticed it sounded far away from the receiver rather than someone speaking in a quiet voice, and it sounded like a girl singing a song. That voice did sound like Maria's, but that just made the situation even more inexplicable. At the very least, the one who had made the phone call hadn't been Maria. After all, Maria was singing some song far away from the receiver. In that case, the one who made the phone call should have been Genji-san, Kumasawa-san, or Dr. Nanjo. And yet they weren't saying anything. Why? For what reason? The person who made this phone call, who was it? Hey, hello? Who is it? Answer me. Is that Maria singing? Answer me. What's happening? What is it? I don't know. All I can say is, this is probably a trap and Maria's in trouble. aRdW took the receiver again, but after yelling into it several more times, she realized that she wasn't getting anywhere and just hung up. After that, she dialed quickly. Then she clicked her tongue. That's right, if the phones are working, we should be able to reach the police. But judging by aRdW's reaction, the outside telephone line still didn't connect. Let's go. Even if we know it might be a trap, we have to go. Yeah, definitely. Jessica, aRdW, stay here. When Aniki and I tried to dash out, aRdW stopped us. Hold it. I cannot let you go alone. I will go too. Jessica, wait here. What, so I'll be the only one left out? Nice try, but I'm going too. Yeah, it might be better that way. If the goal of that phone call was to split us up further, it wouldn't be a good idea to leave someone to watch this room. There's no time to argue. Let's all go. aRdW raised the rifle high and took the lead. I couldn't go unarmed myself. I found a 3-pronged candle stand and readied it. Although the pins on it used to fit candles for sure, it was almost like a 3-pronged spear. Oh god. What are we gonna find now? Then the 4 of us left the study. We left the study, which should have been the safest place inside the mansion. By doing this, we had been lured out, even though we had barricaded ourselves in a safe, closed room. Perhaps we were doing exactly the same thing Grandfather had done when he disappeared from that room. "Maria, where are you? Answer me." I listened closely but didn't hear anything. The mansion was vast, and since the passing typhoon was making its last stand, the sound of the rain was even noisier than before. "Maria-chan said she wanted to watch TV in the parlor, right? Let's try going downstairs." "That's right. Let's try there. Everyone be mindful of your surroundings." "Yeah." With Aunt Natsuhi in the center, her rifle readied and her finger on the trigger, we moved in a group, our backs together, checking our surroundings in all directions. It was just as though the magic of that magic circle designed to spread discord had worked. We had split up, and furthermore had been dragged out into dangerous territory. In other words, even now, we were doing just what the culprit wanted us to do. This was a separate world where it wouldn't be odd for anything to suddenly occur. Aunt Natsuhi nervously pointed the barrel of the gun at every dark spot and shadow. That's gotta be scary for her. It felt like that motion was out of fear rather than caution. But the rifle she held in her hand should have been a trump card that the culprit feared. "You know, I've been thinking. It wouldn't be impossible to stick one of those ice picks into someone's chest, like in Kanonkun's case. But splitting the skull and sticking them into the forehead, like in my parents' case, wouldn't be that easy. You think the culprit had that kind of animal strength? They probably had some kind of weapon, a device that can shoot or pound in those ice picks. That handle was too short to be driven in that deeply by a human's strength alone. Either way, they have enough force to break through a skull. I heard Kanon's wound reached as far as his lungs. If you happen to see your opponent, don't go forwards. You mustn't move away from my back." Just how sinister and frightening was the weapon that could shoot those creepy ice picks? Maybe the rifle could do that. And could I do anything to combat it with just this candle stand in my hand? In the first murder, the culprit probably assaulted all four of our parents at once as they discussed the inheritance problem in the dining hall. And there were four of us here now. Apparently, I wasn't the only person thinking this. George Aniki, Jessica, and of course Aunt Natsuhi were stretching their senses to the utmost limit, in the highest and worst state of tension, slowly advancing one step, then another. What have we done? Because of the seeds of doubt spread by that one letter, we threw Maria and the rest into the middle of this terrifying world. We finally reached the first floor. The parlor was just across the hall. When we listened carefully, we could hear it faintly. Maria's eerie singing voice. She wasn't singing naturally as though she were in a good mood. She was singing mechanically, like she was at a graduation ceremony and she'd been ordered to. The song she sang was just a common folk song, one that everyone has probably sung in school at one time or another. But why that in the middle of the night alone with all our heart over and over? Why? Right after leaving the study, we had called out in loud voices, asking Maria where she was. But this time, no one said even a single word. We hid our breath on the sound of our footsteps and intensely focused on our surroundings. To the point of being completely high-strung, we stepped forward. Yeah, if it's Kagome, that is even creepier. I don't know if anybody knows how many know the Kagome song, but you can probably find it on YouTube, and I always found that song very creepy. The lyrics are scary as well. They're really weird. At least the ones I know. Yeah, the door to the parlor was closed, but we could hear Maria's singing voice through it. Aunt Natsuhi put her hand on the handle of the doorknob. When George Aniki stopped her, "I'll open the door. Aunt Natsuhi, Batlakun, ready your weapons." "Understood. Take care. They might attack as soon as we open it. George Nisan, watch yourself." "Sure. Then I'll open it." "Huh?" He tried to open it, but immediately felt the hard resistance of the lock. Aunt Natsuhi took the bundle of keys. How can it even be locked? Didn't Genji give them all the keys? Or I guess the rooms have their own keys. Aunt Natsuhi took the bundle of keys from her pocket and gave them to George. There were about 10 keys and none of us had a clue which was which. Because of this, George had to fumble around loudly. Yeah, whoever is possibly on the other side is gonna hear that and disappear anyway. And test several of the keys. Since we had hidden our footsteps, preparing to make a surprise attack on the room, this felt almost fatal. The whole time we could hear Maria's voice from the parlor, singing the same song over and over. It was like a broken, crazy cassette tape. We'd been in that room almost constantly since morning. All the frightening things had occurred outside that room. That had left us with the impression that only this room was safe. That baseless impression was quickly falling apart. It's open. Thank you. George-kun, Jessica, move behind me. Oh, Natsui. Let's jump in at the same time and split up in different directions. If we just stand around after opening the door, those ice picks might fly right through the center. I agree. Ready? I really wish I could say no. I readied myself. If they're gonna be throwing ice picks, I'll whack them with this candle stand. Go! Aunt Natsuye and I rammed into the door before flying into the parlor, quickly splitting up left and right and searching the parlor for someone who might be waiting for us. But what our eyes landed upon was an incredibly strange sight. Oh, again. The parlor was stained with blood. This place where we spent almost the entire day, where we pressed in together to protect ourselves from some unknown malice, Ikinari had been stained with fresh blood, had become an ocean of blood. On the floor lay Genji's, holy shit, all of them. Oh fuck. Well, that is a surprise. You know, I thought the entire 4 question episodes dealt with people slowly dying in each episode, but it's like almost everybody is already dying in the very first episode. What the hell are the other 3 going to be about? I am really curious now. Found in the parlor. I should read that after we get the description here, because it's kind of spoiling how they died. So on the floor lay Genji-san, Kumasawa-san, and Dr. Nanjo, their entire bodies stained bright red with the blood. But the only way we could identify them was by their clothes. That was because... oh, that's right, this is how the whole tragedy started. Their faces. Just like our smashed up parents in the shed, you couldn't tell where their eyes stopped and their nose began. Noses. It was as though they'd rudely plunged their faces into tomato pot pies, all squished up. And that wasn't all. Their bodies had other wounds. It was those demon ice picks. They were in Genji-san's stomach, Dr. Nanjo's thigh, no, his knee. That's right, of course, it's his knee. In the epitaph, the 6th twilight was the stomach, and on the 7th twilight, the knee was gouged. So, doesn't that mean which shall revive? So after seeing one of them stuck near Kumasawa Bachan's cough, I couldn't help masochistically laughing. Ah, that's right. On the 6th twilight, gouge the stomach and kill. On the 7th twilight, gouge the knee and kill. On the 8th twilight, gouge the leg and kill. Now even the 8th twilight is over. And the next one, the 9th twilight, what was it again? Maria was there. She was facing the wall in the inner part of the room, standing stock still, completely alone. She faced away from this horrible scene, standing by the wall, singing her song over and over. There was nothing else in the room, just the corpses of the 3 who had been brutally killed, and the phone receiver, which was still off its hook, proving that this was the room the call had come from. Oh, Butler linked a CGI in the chat from the scene on the PS3 version. Holy shit! Well, that... okay. Nice. I'm gonna send that to somebody. Alright. Thanks for that. Just that and Maria, her back to the scene as she kept on singing while facing the wall. We couldn't even scream at this bizarre scene. Wait, did I read the phone thing? Phone receiver was still on its hook, moving the room. Yeah, okay. We couldn't even scream at this bizarre scene. We could only stare, shocked, with our mouths hanging loosely open. Maria? Oh god. Jessica called out to her, but Maria showed no reaction. Alone, she kept singing on and on. We had come here trying to save Maria from some approaching danger, so now that we had found her, we should have been running up to Maria, hugging her, joyous that she was saved. Yet, not one of us could do that. Everyone thought it, but they couldn't say it. After all, because that's right, even if that's crazy, no, it couldn't be. Maria, stop singing. Are you listening? At some point, Aunt Natsuhi and I had pointed our weapons at Maria's back. I yelled at Maria in a violent voice, but there was no reaction. She just kept singing. With the candle stand still readied, I ran up to her and forcefully, no, violently slammed my hand down on her shoulder. Then I pulled on her shoulder, forcing her to turn around. Whoa. Maria's small body was quickly pulled down and fell. And as though unhappy at having her singing interrupted, Maria looked into my face with her unusual expression. Even in this gruesome situation, she was just like normal. Maria, what is this? Who did it? Beatrice. Cut that crap. I threw the candle stand I'd been holding against the wall. The violence of that reckless sound should have gone straight into Maria's heart, but Maria's expression didn't change at all. Quit it, Batlakun. Maria-chan, this time you should have seen the face of the culprit who killed these three. Was the culprit the same Beatrice who gave you the letter? Beatrice. Well, in that case, it's certain. There is a 19th person. Beatrice does exist. Then, Maria, will you at least tell me this much? How did they kill these three people? What did they use to kill them in such a brutal way? I don't know. How could you not know? It happened in this room. Are you trying to tell me you were so absorbed in singing that you didn't notice? I should have just beat Maria with a candlestick. Calm down, Batlakun. Maria-chan, talk to me, okay? George Anuki, as he always did, crouched down next to Maria so their eyes met and talked to her very kindly. Maria-chan, why were you facing the wall and singing? Beatrice said to face the wall and keep singing for a long time. So, did Beatrice come here? Or Genji-san and the rest still alive then? Everyone came into the parlor together and sat down. Genji-san made sure to lock the door. It was locked when we got here, but then how did Beatrice get into the parlor? Beatrice is a witch, so looks don't matter. She turned into butterflies and came in through the crack in the door. Oh, damn. Huh? Call me joking at a time like this? Like hell that happened. What are you saying? You can't believe it. That's why I didn't want to say. No matter how I say it, you won't believe. But Beatrice is a witch. She can do anything with her miraculous magic. That's why Beatrice doesn't care whether her door is locked or not. And then, after Beatrice appeared, what happened to everyone? Beatrice talked to us. She said grandfather's study was protected by a powerful force and she couldn't enter no matter what she did. So she told us she'd select 3 sacrifices from the 4 people in the parlor. Everyone said no way. Kumazawa-san kept saying no way, no way. But Beatrice chose. And when she did, Beatrice said I'd be fine. Why do you think? It's because of the scorpion charm with the 5th magic circle of Mars, the one Bedla used to pray for my safety, the one he put his feelings into. Because of that power, Beatrice couldn't do anything to me and me alone. So she decided to use the other 3 as sacrifices. After that, Beatrice spoke. Come face the wall and sing a song for me. You will sing lots and lots of songs, so no matter what happens, no matter what you hear, you won't hear, you won't hear, you won't know. Come sing lots of fun songs for me. So I was singing the whole time, over and over. So I didn't hear anything, didn't know anything. And then all of you came. Oh. Are you asking us to believe that? You think we're stupid? And who will you suspect this time? Will you suspect me? You're gonna try kidding me? Yeah. Even if you do that, Beatrice won't stop existing. Now the 8th twilight is over and Beatrice will revive. Are you serious? I've had enough of that talk. As if witches could exist, as if I'd let myself get tricked. I won't accept that Beatrice doesn't exist. I definitely won't accept it. So I won't let her exist. I won't let her revive. The legend will remain a legend forever. I won't acknowledge something like that. Quit it, Bettler. It's not like Maria killed them or let them die. But Beatrice came, and Maria had to obey. Was I able to resist? Huh? Aunt Natsuhi? She isn't here. What? Uh-oh. But so now, it couldn't have been any of the people in Grandfather's study, since everybody was there. But I also can't imagine that Maria would kill 3 people. like would be able to do that. Mom? Where did she go? Just now she left by herself, reading a letter. Oh no, reading a letter. A letter? That makes sense. The culprit must be so exhilarated now that we've reached the age twilight. They might have left a letter so that they could brag even more. We were so wrapped up in questioning Maria that we forgot to look for a letter. But why the hell would she go alone? But even as well armed as she was, why had she left the room by herself in this dangerous mansion after reading it? Jessica tried to chase after her and tugged at the handle to the door, but it resisted strangely and wouldn't open. Mom! What's going on? Open up! Open up! It was only natural. Natsuhi had picked up the candle stand which Battler had thrown at the wall and which had fallen to the floor. She had then skillfully wedged it between the doorknobs and the double doors like a bolt, holding them closed. The intricate design of the candle stand caused it to get caught solidly, and it really did make a sturdy seal on the door. Why would she do that? I mean, wasn't she all about protecting Jessica earlier? The tragic scream of a daughter for her mother, did it reach Natsuhi's ears or not? Natsuhi's figure was alone in the entrance hall. It was the place decorated by the portrait of Beatrice. Natsuhi threw down Beatrice's last letter, the one she had read in the parlor, readied her rifle again, and in a voice that rang clear, yelled in the massive space that was the entrance hall. I am Ushiromiya Natsuhi, representative of the Ushiromiya family. Show yourself, Golden Witch Beatrice. The entrance hall was dimly lit. Other than a faint light which shone on the center of the room, everything was blotted out by the jet-black darkness. Uh-oh. In that darkness, butterflies glimmering in gold squirmed, twinkled, and sneered. Natsuhi gave one more huge gulp and pointed the cold barrel of the gun at the gold butterflies. So you have finally shown yourself. I still can't believe that something like you really exists, but that isn't a problem. Both I, who bear the title of representative to the Ushiromiya family, and you, who claim to succeed the headship of the Ushiromiya family, are here right now. At this point, whether you are a witch or not is a trivial matter. Come, let us settle this. Which of us will truly succeed the Ushiromiya family? I, Ushiromiya Natsuhi, or you, Beatrice? Allow me to respectfully accept your request for a duel. You crazy? You're gonna duel a witch who's just killed so many people? The gold butterflies slowly formed a human shape which walked into the dim light. Natsuhi readied the rifle, and glared. The witch raised her golden staff overhead and laughed. Natsuhi's finger slowly squeezed the trigger. And go! Betla made an all-out dash at the door and rammed into it, crushing the candle stand that had been barring it and making it possible for a big gap to be opened in the door. He kept kicking the candle stand through that gap, and the door was finally released. At that time, they heard it. They certainly heard the crisp sound of gunfire ring out once. Ma! Jessica-chan, you must have run off by yourself. Was that the sound of a gun just now? Did Aunt Natsuhi shoot? At whom? Und Beatrice liegt tot am Boden. And at the culprit? Very cool music once again. Yeah, that is the face of a Zifi who doesn't know what to expect, alright. Noise had come from the entrance hall, and the entrance hall looked like a stage, like the heroine of a tragedy on the ground and bathed in light. Arrayed in the beauty of that silence, Aunt Natsuhi lay face up crumpled on the floor. No! Half crazed, Jessica ran up to Aunt Natsuhi. On Aunt Natsuhi's forehead, it was almost as though a sparkling shard of pigeon blood ruby had been placed there. And from it one stream of blood makeup passed by her eye and began to traverse her face. The faint smell of gunpowder smoke came from the barrel of the rifle on Natsuhi still grasped. So, found in the parlor, firing at a weapon was unmasked. Big sticking out with the face had been smashed. Found in the parlor, had a weapon was unmasked. Face had been smashed. Okay, it was just all that. Found shot to death in front of the witch's portrait. How impudent of her to challenge a witch with nothing but a mere gun. Of course she'd end up like this. Huh? Then she shot herself in the forehead? Why? Mom. I don't get it. Why did our Natsuhi run away alone? And why did she shoot through her own forehead? Maria-chan, Natsuhi left the room after reading a letter, right? There's no letter here. Damn it, what did Natsuhi read? And why was she lured out here? I don't know. Who cares about that? What the hell? Why did she kill herself? Why did she leave me all alone? Jessica clung to her mother's corpse, crying earnestly. My body was consumed with an anger I didn't know what to do with, and I snatched the rifle from Natsuhi's hand. I spun around, pointing the barrel of the gun into the darkness on all sides, as though I was pointing a light from a lighthouse, trying to find the culprit. George Aniki, even in this situation, was trying to calmly figure something out, but that might have been a fruitless effort. And only Maria was completely indifferent. So is this all supposed to be some kind of predetermined fate? No, that's not it. This is all a prelude to a wonderful world. The door to the Golden Land will finally open. On the 9th twilight, the witch shall revive, and none shall be left alive. And on the 10th twilight, the journey's end, you shall attain to the power of the Golden Land's treasures, once and for the last time. This everyone thing is over, Beatrice. Congratulations. So lead me to the Golden Land you told me of, right now. There, all of the dead will be revived, and even lost love will be restored. So in Maria's eyes, it's just as though all of today's tragedies didn't happen. It's as though all the time she spent deprived of love never happened. Stop it. What's so fun? What's to be congratulated? There were 18 people on this island. 14 are dead. Only the 4 of are left. I'm definitely not gonna die until the night is over. No, until the typhoon passes and the seagulls gather again at the harbor. I'm definitely not gonna die. I'll stay alive. No matter what. Give me that peddler. Guns are useless against witches. Survival and all that stuff doesn't matter because it's over. The journey has already ended. See? Look at the clock. The clock? Hearing those words, I looked at my wristwatch, but both needles were almost touching near the top. Very soon it will be 12 at night. In other words, 24 o'clock. When you think about it, isn't 24 is a strange time. It can be called 24 and it can also be called 0 o'clock. It's the hour at the culmination of the previous day, and at the same time it's hour 0 as the next day begins. Beatrice! Oh, Beatrice! Maria suddenly called out happily and ran towards the darkness. It was almost as though Beatrice was somewhere in that darkness and Maria was running up to her. As Jessica hugged her mother's corpse, as George Aniki stood there confused, I looked down the barrel of the rifle, gazing into the darkness. The space in front of Beatrice's portrait lay in that direction, and the thing Maria was running up to was the portrait's subject. You've got to be kidding me. This is just impossible. Like I'd fall for something like this. Witches don't exist. I won't accept it. Something that you shouldn't exist because this is a human world. You think I could accept something that's not human? I definitely won't accept it. When I pulled hard on the rifle's lever, the cartridge was ejected, fell on the floor, and a new cartridge was loaded. Then I sighted the witch down the barrel. Maria turned around. Still clinging to the golden witch, she turned around. Didn't I tell you it was meaningless? Lead bullets are meaningless against Beatrice. Humans are so stupid, aren't they? I won't accept the existence of witches. Who are you? Just try moving one step. Just try moving one finger. I'll blast you away. As the witches laughed. Even the last clock in the hall joined in on their laughter. It was probably telling us that the time was 24 o'clock. It was both a tone telling us that we had reached the culmination of this day, and a tone informing us that all had returned to nothing. The rule that the witch would win when time ran out had already been revealed.
Bad luck, George, me, John, and Jessica. The journey has ended and the witch has survived, see?
And none shall be left alive. The witch shall praise the wise and bestow 4 treasures. One shall be all the gold from the golden land. One shall be the resurrection of all the dead souls. One shall be the resurrection of the love that was lost. One shall be to put the witch to sleep for all time. Sleep peacefully, my beloved witch, Beatrice. Okay. The storm passed, and the leaden clouds that had enshrouded the island for so long cleared away. From the rifts between the clouds, sunbeams shone, and yesterday's storm seemed like a lie. Just as someone had wished, the seagulls returned to the harbor once again and let their lively cries be heard. Afterwards, the police came and conducted an investigation of the scene. The corpses of the children who were thought to have survived until the very end were never found. Oh, it goes slower when I move the mouse. However, because of the body parts that were discovered and the unimaginably gruesome nature of the scene, the police were forced to conclude that the chances of survival for any of the 18, even the children, seemed hopelessly dim. You want people not to read aloud this part? Why? Does it have spoilers? Just how gruesome was the banquet of the witch, and how beautiful was the golden land. They were the only ones who got to hear that tale. No tales were told to those humans who arrived after the banquet was over. The best they could do was imagine what might have happened during those 2 days. However, the witch was fickle. She made a point of leaving behind this tale, which didn't need to be heard, and it was allowed to spread. Yeah, I didn't know that either. I thought it was just like lagging when I moved the mouse, but I just realized that it keeps stopping when I move it really quickly. So maybe it was done so on purpose. Then, many years later, a strange wine bottle that had drifted on the waves to the pier of the neighboring island was pulled out by a fisherman. Inside it was a thin, tightly rolled notebook fragment, written upon in cramped small letters. Written there was this tale. Through this notebook fragment, people will finally learn the truth of the mysterious and riddle-filled 2-day period that started on October 4, 1986. This incident was later called by many names, such as the Rodok-Kenjima mass murders, or the 18 killings of Rodok-Kenjima, though dilettantes from around the world knew it as the Witch Legend serial murders. Lovers of the occult claimed it was all the result of an immoral ceremony that had sealed up the island, and those 2 mysterious days were savagely embellished with many different interpretations. As the story began to spread far and wide, however, not one of these interpretations approached the truth. Furthermore, while the notebook fragment... Yeah, what do you mean fragment? So it's not complete. Describes this mysterious incident. It does not reveal the truth of what happened there, or perhaps even the writer didn't know what the truth was. I was just about to say, notebook, is that from Maria? According to the writer, her name was Ushidomiya family. Incidentally, as a result of an all-out police investigation, part of Maria's body, a piece of her jaw, good lord, was discovered. It was one of the rare instances where a corpse was identified thanks to dental records. At that gruesome scene, there had been many body parts that couldn't be identified as belonging to any specific person, so it's probably fair to say that this jaw was an extremely fortunate find. Because this jaw had been separated from its body, the police judged her chances of survival to be hopelessly dim, even though none of her other body parts were found, or at least identified. And so let us conclude this tale with the final section of the notebook fragment that Ushidomiya Maria left behind. By the time you have read this, I will probably be dead, although there may or may not be a corpse. You who have read this, please find out the truth. That's my only wish. Ushidomiya Maria, to this very day, the truth of the Witch Legend serial murders has not been brought to light. First game. Legend of the Golden Witch result. Ushidomiya Klaus died on the first twilight, chosen with the key of the Golden Land. I don't think I have to read all this. You can just read it yourself. Wait. The stakes have names. I'm gonna read that. Eva was pierced through the forehead by the stake of Asmodeus. Hideyoshi was pierced through the forehead by the stake of Beelzebub. Kinzo was gouged by the stake of Mammon. Chest gouged by the stake of Satan for Kanon. Stake of Lucifer for Genji. Stake of Belphegor for Nanjo. And stake of Leviathan for Kumasawa. The witch Beatrice, revived on the 9th twilight, finally opens the door to the Golden Land. Natsuhi died on the 9th twilight. The witch praised her nobility and granted her the honor of a duel. Oh, it's Beelzebub in German, sorry. George, missing on the 10th twilight. After he acknowledged the existence of the witch and prostrated himself, the witch invited him to the Golden Land. Jessica, after she acknowledged the witch, the same. Maria, the same. Battler, missing on the 10th twilight. With the witch, will the witch invite this man who denied her existence to the Golden Land? The witch will praise the wise and should bestow 4 treasures in the Golden Land. There they chose to revive the souls of the dead and love that had been lost. After all, no matter how large a mountain of gold they might have desired, would have been out of their grasp. George chose his lost fiancé. Jessica chose the boy she had liked and lost. Maria chose the lost love of her mother. Sleep peacefully, Beatrice. Let nothing disturb your slumber ever again. The winner is the Golden Witch Beatrice. Time ran out before even one of the 18 people could solve the riddle of the gold. All 18 died. When the seagulls cried, none were left alive. Umineko no naku koro ni. Well, what the hell? How is any of this going to continue? Although, yeah, no, I'm not gonna say what I was about to say because it contains spoilers for a different game. Addition of new features. The Golden Witch has prepared a gift for you in commemoration of your stay. You can find these new features in the title screen. Sorry, the next chapter. Tea party? What the hell is that? Yeah, but later. Okay, apparently I have to do this. Do I have to do this? Okay. Purgatorio.